And welcome back to the United Stand. It is the build-up show, countdown to kick-off. Manchester United versus Everton. Our first half-12 kick-off in a very long time. Up bright and early this morning. 3 games left. Eric Ten Hag has to save his job. That's the rumours that are coming out. First one starts today. I'm joined by Kev and I'm joined by Faz. We've already had like 3 arguments before we've even gone live. So I think it's going to be a good show.
It's going to get tasty.
Kev, first of all, it's great to have you back on the build-up. And how are you feeling going into this game?
Thank you very much for having me on. Hello to Faz as well. Excited. Obviously, it's match day. As a Manchester United fan, how could you not be excited? I think, as you mentioned then, a lot's being made of obviously Eric Ten Hag and the vultures circling kind of over Manchester United. But yeah, I'm confident. It's the hope that kills you, isn't it, on a day like this? But obviously, we'll get the team news later on. Be interested, to see who's actually starting, but certainly confident.
Well, we can discuss who we think is going to start. I mean, we know that a left back's not going to start. Ten Hag made that clear in his press conference on the embargoed section. Basically, called out the medical team and said he was told that Malacia and Luke Shaw would be back in January, which is why Reguilon went back. And obviously, both of them look like they're not even going to be here before the end of the season. Malacia, I don't think will play this season, and Luke Shaw might be available for a couple of games towards the end. Some say back for the FA Cup final in June, who knows. But yeah, so the lineup's going to be tricky, but we're going to talk about it. But Faz, Sean Dyche, I'm going to be honest, I'm not that confident because I know Sean Dyche can get results. How are you feeling?
Obviously nervous, like any other Manchester United fan. I don't think there's any game right now that I could propose to you where you will say that we're likely to win or we're going to win comfortably. I think home advantage is going to play a little bit of a part. It is the Evertonians, and we can get behind the team a little bit as well. And like you say, it's a half 12 kickoff. We've not had that in a while, so I'm kind of feeling a little bit energetic. I've had my caffeine. I'm going to get behind the team today and see what happens. I think the only thing is they've had quite a few draws in the last few games, right? That's the only bit. I think they're really good at holding out oppositions and seeing the game through. And I'm hoping they don't kind of get an early goal or even like a late equaliser and just lock it up and try and get a point from here, because that would be massive for them considering how their season's panned out.
They're fighting for survival, aren't they? That's what makes it, as Faz rightly says, nervous, a tricky kind of game. But the one thing you want to see from this set of players, obviously last week was a huge disappointment against Manchester City, but you want to see that bounce back, character. Can they go out there and do it today? There'll be no hiding place today. They're in front of the home fans, so. Exactly,
and to be fair, I've always got good memories against Everton. I remember the last 12, well, I don't know, I just prominently remember 12:30 kickoff away at Goodison Park after we just played, I think it's Europa League, with Ollie. He was under pressure and Bruno scored a really good goal from like outside the box, and he also scored a header as well. I think it was a good game, and Ollie came out after the game basically said that they give us this fixture because they wanted us to lose, and United came through that. We've had some good goals against Everton. I mean Garnacho earlier this season, goal of the season. So you look at it like that and you're thinking, you know what, I feel like United can do something. We're up against it today. It's half 12 kickoff. Let's have it. The home fans are here. But also at the same time, Faz is right. They've got set piece threat, which sometimes we struggle with. They can score off, they can score a goal, but they're also really good at shutting up shop as well. So it's going to be interesting. James Burney, a member for 4 months, working in the freezing cold, but looking forward to the match. Come on, United. Everyone get your predictions in, any hot takes, any opinions. Make sure you get your super chats in and we'll read them out and talk about them in the show. But Faz, I want to ask you a question, because I was thinking this today as I was driving here. The rumour is, this is just pure rumour, it's not from the United Stand, but the rumour is it's going to be Garnacho, Anthony and Rashford as a front 3 again. Do you see much threat and goals in that front 3?
I don't see much goals because we're struggling to score goals anyways, but I do bank on Alejandro Garnacho being able to create something, because he has done previously this season. A lot of people came on to you for your tweet about Garnacho and Real Madrid thing that you had said, but look, I think it's too early to put too much pressure on him. It's too early to expect too much of him, but one thing it is he brings a lot of energy to the game, and he really works hard to try and win the ball back. Some of the assists that he's got, some of the goals that we've got is because he's won the ball back for us. If you remember, one of the Rashford goals as well this season, And obviously we know he's got a great left foot, great right foot as well. I think he's going to be one of the players that we can count on to create something, even though he's so young, and I don't want to put pressure on him. I have a feeling it's going to be him who's going to shine from the front three. Rashford, obviously, Man City game, a fantastic goal after that. He made a post as he would. I don't expect much from him. I say this every show. What he gives is what he gives, and I'm happy with it. If he gets a goal, good. If he doesn't get a goal, it's expected. So that's Rashford. Anthony's the one who needs to prove something. Like Eric said, he has to prove himself to the team. He has to prove himself to the fans. And let's be honest, Anthony's only starting now because I just want to say as it is, he's Eric's boy, and Eric's paid so much money for him. He knows that Amad Diallo is going to give you better output than Anthony, and it's almost like he probably doesn't want to get embarrassed. Because Amad, if anything, should be starting. Even if Amad doesn't do well, then actually Amad's shot himself in the foot. He's got his opportunity, he didn't do well, okay, back in the bench. But if you're not giving him the opportunity, same thing like Pelestri, then he's never going to be able to show you. Just like Garnacho when he had, come through. So let's see what Anthony does.
He can't be any worse than Anthony, can he?
Exactly
like Faz says, you're almost cutting off your nose to spite your face because of the fee that he's paid. But I'm sure a lot of United fans will think, well, does Anthony really deserve, how many chances is he going to get? And why is Amad not getting, Amad's more direct, at least something different. I think we all know what you will get from Anthony today, and it's going to be a lot of cutting back, maybe a bit frustrating, but at least Amad, you give him a chance and he's unpredictable.
The one thing I would say is, and if someone said to me, Amad or Anthony to start today, it's your decision, I'd pick Amad, by the way. But just to kind of give it a different sort of angle, the one thing I would say is I feel like Everton are going to come to Old Trafford and they're going to sit back. Anthony, he can hold possession quite well. He's passing, he's decent. He's not really a counter-attack sort of player. We're going to have to kind of keep possession. We're going to have to kind of work it around the edge of the box. I'm just trying to come up with slight little things here that I can sort of think about. And also the one thing is Forson is injured. So he's going to have to sub. You are going to have to make a change. I do think Amad will get minutes today. For people that want to see Amad, if he doesn't get minutes today, he's in trouble because Ten Hag should be using him. If he doesn't get minutes today, Ten Hag just doesn't rate him, don't like him. So I think that Amad will get minutes today for everyone who wants to see it. But in this, I would never really pick Anthony to start because I don't think he's good enough. But in this sort of game, with the options we've got, I'm not mad at it. But I would have gone the other way, but I'm not mad at it. That's where I'm at. But I want to run a poll for you guys in the chat. Who's most likely to be the biggest threat today out the front three? Rashford, Garnacho or Anthony? We'll run that poll and let us know what you think, because I struggle to see where the goals are going to come from, to be honest. Yeah,
it really depends. We need them to turn up, don't we? So many times. And today what I want to see is United setting the tone for this game. If we can get the early goal, one thing we don't do is dictate the play. Very rarely we'll get into a position where even in a winning position, we just never ever look comfortable. I mean, by God, is it too much to ask just to get a game today where it's comfortable?
Oh, I doubt it.
I know, even for Faz using the word nervous, how has it come to this, man? We're nervous about a home game against Everton, relegation threatened Everton. And that probably tells you more where Manchester United are at this moment in time.
Exactly. KFJ990 says, can we not play Bruno false 9 again, as we did versus 1-1-5? Talking about, obviously, Man City there, because Anthony was on the bench for the City game, wasn't he? Yeah. He played Bruno false 9. I mean, you could, but you'd think at home maybe you can be a bit more proactive. The game plan's
going to be totally different to what it was at the Etihad last week. It was all about in-game management, trying to stay in the game. Obviously, we get in at 1-0 at half-time, and it was unexpected, but it's a total different game today. Erik ten Hag at Old Trafford should not be setting up here, for counter-attacking football. We should be taking the game to Everton today. Home advantage.
Goals could come from somewhere else as well. Don't forget Casemiro, McTominay scored loads of goals this season, so I know that people expect the front line to be the main personnel to score, but
yeah, it should be spread out, shouldn't it?
Yeah, if the team plays good enough, goals will come from somewhere, and wherever the goals come from at this point of the season, we don't really care, do we?
No, I agree with that in the sense of Ricky always says it, you only need one and you need to be defensive and, don't worry about where the goals are going to come from. But the fact of the matter is, our front three has been massively underperforming this season. And, we've relied a lot on Scott McTominay, we've relied on Casemiro. We need our front three to provide, to be honest with you. It's not been good enough from them as a whole. But also, you need other players on the pitch to turn up as well. I've got a funny feeling, actually, speaking of Bruno. I think Bruno's going to score today. I tweeted it earlier on today when I first woke up. I had a little bit of a premonition about it, got a feeling. I wouldn't say, I just woke up and I thought Bruno's scoring today. So I just have a weird feeling.
You heard it here first on the United stand. Yeah.
Watch us get beat like 2-0 now, but no. You heard it here first anyway. Danny In says, hi all, I've got a cold today, so I'm hoping Manchester United put in a good performance and get the result today against Everton. Come on, United. That's the attitude that we need. Dare says, Beth, you're on TNT Sport. Yeah, I think I am on right now. I filmed something previously with TNT literally like a week ago, so I think it is airing today before the game, so it must be on right now. So good stuff on that.
Well done to you.
Well done.
Well done to you for representing us on TNT. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Faz. I appreciate it. But Faz, I want to come to you on the left-back situation.
Yeah.
So we've not got the lineup yet, obviously. Just notice it's 11-11. Make a wish, everyone. Wish for United to win. But left-back situation, we're kind of discussing it before we went live. But Ten Hag, like we said, he's not going to have a recognised left-back until the end of the season. When Wan-Bissaka's back, he'll probably end up playing Dalot there and Wan-Bissaka right back. But realistically, it's really kind of poor that Man United are in this situation. What are your feelings on how we can manage this and what we can do with this going forward?
So I have come to a conclusion that the first transaction that Manchester United should make this summer is buy a left back. And I don't think they're going to sell Malacia because they've just purchased him for a cheap fee. They hijacked that deal. I think Luke Shaw should be sold and Manchester United should buy a left back. That should be the first transaction of the summer. And the reason why I think that is the position itself is such a hindrance to the team because you don't have any left back right now. That's one. Number two, if and when Luke Shaw and Malacia do come back, Luke Shaw's injury prone, we know that already. You don't know how fit Malacia is going to be for the whole season. He could end up having this issue now where he becomes more and more injury prone over the course of the seasons that he's here. So we can't take that risk. We don't have the data to know that he can play a full season. That's number two. Luke Shaw's obviously been here for such a long time. A lot of people will say he's one of the players that should be moved on. So there's numerous factors. I'm also having to play other players out of position in left back to accommodate the back line. On top of that, the left back is a position which is important for the likes of Marcus Rashford, right? I don't think Man United is going to sell Marcus Rashford this summer. So you need a full back on that side that can complement Marcus Rashford as well. If Manchester United is selling Marcus Rashford, that's a different conversation in itself, but I don't think they're going to sell him. So you're going to need a full-back to complement him, to help us go in attacking. We've had Amrabat on loan, who's supposed to play in midfield, playing in left-back. We've had Lindelof.
We get the point that the fact is we've struggled at left-back, but what's your solution?
But it's not struggling. This is like bad hindrance to the team.
What's your solution?
We've got centre-backs to rely on. Go and buy us a left-back. Apart
from you, Faz, you just mentioned that other people are saying that Luke Shaw should be sold or get rid of. Have I missed the memo here? Is there other people that... There's a lot of people that want Luke Shaw gone?
I don't get it.
So your first transaction, you're Eric Ten Hag, or you're in charge at Manchester United, is to get rid of Luke Shaw, the best...
No, it's to buy a left-back. It's to buy a left-back. The exit of Luke Shaw...
You said before you wanted to get rid of Luke Shaw. Have you changed your mind?
Yeah, I do want to get rid of Luke Shaw. No. But I'm saying the transaction should be buy a left-back first, and then, that's my left-back sorted. Because I've got two left-backs to play with.
A first-team left-back
player,
not a backup
No. We need a starting left-back, proper one.
I'm going to be honest. You know how much I love Luke Shaw, Kev. I agree the fact we need to buy left-back, and I actually think we need to buy a first-choice left-back as well, which is mad because Luke Shaw's one of my favourite players, and I do really rate him. But this is my thinking behind it. I would not get rid of Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw knows the club. He's got captain qualities. For me, when he's fit, he's top 3 left back in the league, one of the best.
He's one of the best centre backs as well.
He can play centre back as well. No way I'm getting rid of Luke Shaw.
Versatile.
You have to make space. I'm getting rid of Malacia. I'm going to be honest. My patience is thin. You've been out a whole season.
How much are you going to get?
A whole season. People think he's young. People think he's 21, 22. He's nearly 25. Like, where is the ceiling? He's been out for a whole season. Luke Shaw is dominant going backwards, dominant going forwards. Malacia's pretty good defensively. You don't get much out of him going forwards. We paid around 15 mil for him. It's not the end of the world.
Did you not
how
say
much
be able to get that money back.
How much would
no,
we get
I'm
for
not, I
Luke
wouldn't
Shaw?
sell
Then?
Luke Shaw.
How much do you think you get for Luke Shaw?
I have
Or are
no
you just
idea.
looking at this and thinking,
no
if we can
idea.
get good money, that goes into the kind of kitty and it's
We'll get more money than we would sell Malacia.
going to cost a hell of a lot of money to replace
Yeah,
Luke
but,
Shaw.
yeah, but you say you'd get more money than you'd get from Malacia. First of all, that's for the club to sort out. Second of all, you're getting way more value back in Luke Shaw. You're getting a player who can play centre-back, left-back, and he's one of the top 3 in the league. Malacia won't make top 10, won't make top 20 maybe.
Doesn't matter. He's a hindrance to the team because he's not available.
Malacia's been out for a whole season,
And
Faz.
so has Luke Shaw in his career. And Luke Shaw's average games, we don't have the data to know if Malacia can play a season. We just don't.
If I'm getting rid of one, there's no way I'm choosing to keep Malacia over Luke Shaw right now. There's no way. And I think Malacia, looked like he had a bit of potential last year. But Luke Shaw, he's got value. The way you can see the way when he comes into the team how much it affects us and how good
You're more confident with Luke Shaw at centre back than you would be with Lindelof or Maguire, and that says a lot.
Even if you keep Luke Shaw as a backup, that's fine. Let's go with what you guys have said.
Yeah.
But the left back should be the #1 transaction for this summer, period.
We do need a left back.
question.
We do.
There's no
We
question.
need somebody
It's
to
more important
challenge.
than centre back, I'm telling you.
And
because you've got so many other players playing that position, out of position, and sometimes not doing a good enough job, and it's hindering the team. Especially if Eric's going to stay and you want to play this attacking inverted fullback and yada, yada, yada. You need a left back, I'm telling you.
I think that's it's a hot take, that. Because I think there's more pressing issues at Manchester United for you to say that's the first transaction.
I think left back is up there, Kev.
I'm telling you, Kev, because it's such a hindrance to the team.
Because
I can't have Dalot playing left back because he's a good left back. He's not a left back, he's a right back. I can't have Lindelof or the next centre back play a left back. I can't have a midfielder play a left back. There's so many players who play out of position just because 2 of them can't stay fit.
The reason why left back is such a pressing matter is because we don't know if Malacia's injury is going to be, how injury prone he is. We just got to go by the fact he's been out for a full season. So I just count him as not available anymore. And Luke Shaw, as much as I love him, is injury prone. We do need a left back. We do. And we need someone of really good quality. We don't need to buy. Yeah. We need someone of really good quality. We do. But this is the thing, Kev. We've got so many positions all over the pitch. Like, Hojlund can't go into another season on his own. Striker's massive priority. Centre-back's huge, so...
A lot of these players have probably been overplayed, haven't they? Because we don't have that competition for places. Like you say, maybe if Reguilon had stayed, you might have been able to manage that, where you could give Luke Shaw, a game off. Or,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Especially when you look at, the kind of Champions League campaign that we had, and then you've got Premier League, FA Cup and all that, the cup competition. So that comes down to Ten Hag as well, because really you should be able to manage that and look ahead. If you think, we've got Manchester City at the weekend, I'll rest Luke Shaw, I'll play Malacia, I'll play whoever. But the injuries have been absolutely horrendous this season.
They've been crazy, and we could do a whole show on that, but focus on the Everton game now. Everyone get your super chats in. If you have your say on the left back situation or you want to get your opinion across, make sure you let us know.
Can I just say, Beth, let us know in order of the positions you would prioritise first. So, like I said, #1 left back, #2. Send in your super chat and let us know that way. I actually want to know what fans prioritise 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, whatever transactions. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. And Danny in says, hi, all got a cold today, but I'm hoping Manchester United put in a good performance and get the result today against Everton. Come on, United. Amir Khan says, the biggest mistake Eric Ten Hag has made since joining the club is signing Anthony and not trusting players like Ahmad and Pellistri. Beth, I'm glad you dumped Son from them imaginary dates a lot. Lee says, hi guys, stop arguing left back position. Personally, I would get rid of both left backs, too injury prone, and look at Luke Shaw's age as well.
Sorry, Beth. Fabrizio just tweeted a minute ago. Have you seen it?
No, I've just been told to check it now.
Manchester United have already planned months ago to bring in a new left back.
He's watching the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, yet again, the Messiah has delivered. How? I've just told you.
Wait, Faz, I need
Fabrizio Romano.
Faz,
I am Fabrizio Romano now. That's
Faz,
what I am.
Faz, you've proved you don't watch United Stand content because on my last interview with Romano, he said that.
Stop it. Oh, stop it.
Fabrizio Fazano.
Thank you, Fabrizio. I appreciate you.
Fabrizio Fazano.
Stars of a line. But I'll let you read out the tweet anyways.
No, to be fair, Fabrizio did say on the last interview we did, he said that United are looking at a left back, young left backs. He said.
It's a priority.
But interestingly, he's brought it back up again, so we definitely are in for it. But you are right, Faz, on the left back situation. I'll do these super chats and I'll come back to that. So Mini19 says, get rid of the medical team first, then we talk about the players. Facts. Mark Landry says, we need a second striker more than a left back. And Tor L says, Beth, you are starting to make sense. Thank you guys for your super chats. I'm going to get the Romano tweet up now. Got a lot to get into, a lot going on. Let me.
Could you have timed that tweet
any better? You couldn't, could you?
I'm telling you, for 2 days I've been really understanding which position hinders our squad the most. Which position is the another one I say to people. I'm telling fans all across the world on Discord, on our United Stand Discord, get in there as well if you haven't already. We can't sell Scott McTominay. We cannot sell Scott McTominay. Let
me read this tweet out and we'll come back to it. So Romano actually said, Man United have already planned months ago to bring in a new left-back in the summer, expected to be a young one, an important player. Shortlist to be decided once board structure will be completed, but Manchester United will go for a left-back no matter what happens with Malacia. For me, I think Malacia end up going, personally.
Yeah, it sounds like the writing's on the wall, really, doesn't it, with that?
Yeah. And I'm glad we're going for a young, up-and-coming left-back, but they've got to be quality. They've got to be quality. I don't have time to wait for you to be good, a year, 2 years. I need you to be good now.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's going to be interesting.
It has to be, somebody to at least challenge Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
And give him something to think about, not like you say, come in, 3 or 4 years, understudy. Yeah, it has
and can play to a high level when Luke Shaw is injured, because it's going to happen. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
on
you
that.
don't want that drop off, do you? Where it's, it needs to be some form of an upgrade on what we have. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, we'll come back to your McTominay point in a second, Faz, but I just want to bring in some stats because I know you love him. So, Everton have only won 2 of their 31 Premier League matches at Old Trafford. They've drawn 8, lost 21, the most recent of which was 1-0 in December 2013. So that looks good in our favour. Man United have faced 444 shots in the Premier League this term, a figure only exceeded by Sheffield United and West Ham.
Wow. This season or as in?
This season.
Oh, right, okay.
Man United's average of 16.4 shots faced per game is the highest in a league season since such data was first recorded in 2003-2004.
Oh my God.
Madness.
Oh my God.
But this is more of a positive one. Ten Hag has won all 4 of his matches as manager against Everton in all competitions. Everton's winless run of 10 Premier League games, 5 draws, 5 losses, is the joint longest by any club this season. If you want to break your chain, come to Old Trafford.
I was just going to say that. The writing's on the wall, isn't it?
And then the last one, which again works in our favour, but don't count United out, is Everton are winless in each of their 9 top-flight matches this season against teams currently in the top 6. Drawn 2, lost 7, losing all 4 away games. So, by looking at that, Kev, United should be winning this game, shouldn't they?
They should do, but this is not the United of old. So I hate these records before games, because when you say that, it kind of makes you confident, but at the same time, it wasn't long ago that Fulham rocked up at Old Trafford, and you were like, oh, Fulham haven't won at Old Trafford for like 700 years or something, and then they kind of turned us over. And, I suppose from an Everton perspective, they can use it as kind of motivation as well. But as a United fan, yeah, I've gone from feeling really positive before this show now just to slightly a little bit nervous like Faz. I'm sitting with Faz on this one now, but yeah, we'll have to see, won't we?
Yeah.
Faz will be licking his lips. He loves a good stat break, don't you?
Yeah, but we're known to break these stats anyway, so I hope it's not jinxing it. But listen, I think we have good caliber of players is the reason why we're obviously higher up in the table than the likes of Newcastle and Brighton. We just
should have
a
enough.
better caliber. So I hope that little bit of edge that we have will see us through today. But I don't have any faith in Manchester United playing football that's going to dominate Everton. I obviously don't have that hope. But we'll find a goal from somewhere, like we have done all season. It's just one of them nail-biting game will be. And
the worry is, like Forrest Gump said, wasn't it? I think United are like a box of chocolates at a minute. You just don't know what you're going to get from game to game. So it'll be interesting. I just want to see United from the kind of first whistle set out with intent and more or less, take the game to Everton. But I don't think that's too much to ask. The fact we're at home, maybe if it was at Goodison, they'd have the fans behind them, but you've got the home crowd behind you today, and you've just got to go out there with a game plan. But for me, it's just take the game to them. Yeah. I think man for man, we have better players, and it's all about trying to control the midfield, go out there, express yourself, but by the end of play today, it has to be 3 points. It really is a huge... I just can't believe that we're at this stage of the season where a home game against Everton is actually being labelled as like a must-win game, because we know the pressure that Erik ten Hag is under at the minute at Manchester United, and the media will absolutely love this. They'll already have the headlines written in anticipation. If Manchester United were to lose this evening, the knives will be out. So hopefully we can get the result.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it's super important, and I'd be really interested to see how the Man United players actually come out in this game, because they know the headlines, they know the rumours. The rumours are that the players feel like Ten Hag won't be there at the end of the season. There's little motivation. The season's practically written off. The only thing
it's the leaks as well.
Yeah.
Again, I thought we were past all this stage, and then you do know there's no smoke without fire when this kind of thing comes out. I know that the media can sometimes stir things up, but I mean, even the story the other day, that the players aren't happy with the training, they think they're running too much. And I'm like, seriously? We're back at this stage, this has happened under previous managers, and you're getting leaks about players who are paid a shitload of money.
It might not be the players leaking, it might be staff, to be fair.
Yeah, but even if it's coming from them and it is true, so what it stops with is that these players are confiding in somebody or are actually saying that they don't like the training methods and they're running too much. Do you know what I mean?
It's mad.
They're in a privileged position, and the money they get, especially for somebody, let's say, like Rashford, who's living his dream of playing for, boyhood club, and then you're getting, like I say, leaks. It's we need to shut this down, because big clubs do not operate like this.
Exactly. They're running too much for me is such a myth. Like, the work that City do, the work that Liverpool do, like, I just think that... I think the players haven't been fit enough for quite a long time as a whole squad, and I think the medical department's an absolute shambles. It has been for a while. What they've done to Pogba, Lukaku, Martial, so I could name so many.
How many games have we had? I remember one, funnily enough, I think it was against Everton under Mourinho, where Man United as a squad, it was one of the shortest distances covered by the players. Basically, Mourinho questioned him after that game about running. And he made... How many times have we heard under Erik ten Hag where he's had him in for extra training, he's made him run for an hour or whatever, as a punishment. This don't go on, surely, at other clubs, big clubs.
I mean, Oli
it's
said
absolutely
it, if I'm
crazy.
not mistaken, isn't it, that odd players stop running for you, and that's when you know...
How many times have we seen them at Old Trafford, out on the road or whatever, when you go to watch them, and you do question it at the end, and you go, they didn't put in a shift today. He's not ran, for a full 90 minutes, and we're actually questioning basic fundamentals of football. This is what they're supposed to do. That's the basic thing, really.
But the thing
Need
is,
to clear out from top to bottom.
The thing is, Kev, in every manager's tenure that's occurred in Manchester United, you'd have to say there'll be one player that is the starter for this whole not running thing. There's always the first player that says, you know what, I've had enough, I'm not running, right? We've got rid of so many players so far. So why is it still happening? We have to filter down.
Well, to me, that certain player who we can only speculate, and I won't mention names, is still at the club.
I don't I don't even necessarily think it's that as well. I think there's just a whole culture, toxic culture at Man United. Not even just the players, like the whole kind of mood. It's gone on for so long that where this is allowed, this is a standard. Like the leaks that we've got out, that players, you know, have a little motivation because they feel like there'll be a new manager in the summer. This is more motivation for me that Ten Hag, you know, gets to stay and turn it around, because the players shouldn't have an out again. No, we're sticking with this manager and toughen up and deal with it. Yeah. Like, that's what I'd be so tempted to do with the situation, because it's the same cycle. And when, you know, like Jose Mourinho said, football heritage. It's Man United's football heritage. Players stop running, they give up, and the manager goes, bounce, you know, do quite well, setbacks, manager goes. It's the same cycle, and this is why it baffles me when fans think.
Do you think it was new manager bounce last season then with Ten Hag and his first season, and now you've seen that drop off?
No, I think there's a mix. I think there was, in terms of, the players were, when you're winning, the players were always going to be behind a manager more, just the way it is. But I also think Ten Hag did change his style of play at the start of this season, and I also think injuries have been a massive thing. I think there's a lot of different fundamentals, but ultimately, like, the cycle is repeating itself.
It's crazy when you think...
It's started to get quicker now. Like, this is less time than Ollie got for Ten Hag.
At this stage last season, we'd won the Carabao Cup. You know, we were on the road to an FA Cup final, and we were challenging for top four. You know, to see that drop off this season, it's
got the team in, Kev.
Go on, hit me with it.
Got the team in. So we have... Oh, why is it not coming up?
I'd be interested to see the left-back position. Who's going to...
Why is it not coming up on my
try and play that today?
Oh, they've deleted the post. They've just deleted the post. United have deleted the post. Does that mean that it's changed? But okay, it's back. The official starting 11 for Manchester United is Andre Onana in goal, Diogo Dalot right back, Varane and Evans as the centre backs, and Lindelof as the left back. Midfield three of Casemiro, Mainu and McTominay. A front three of Rashford, Garnacho and Bruno. So Bruno false nine again. He's done the exact same thing. So the rumours of Anthony starting were false. Yeah. They weren't from us. They were just from Twitter. That's why you never believe Twitter rumours, by the way. They weren't from us, but that was the rumour. But Bruno Fernandes false nine. I mean, Kev, initial thoughts?
I'm happy with it. I think as we went off the old Twitter rumours earlier on, I was a bit bemused maybe if Anthony was going to start, because I think you put in a lot of pressure on the player. It's pressure on Ten Hag as well. But he's gone with a strong team. I totally agree with Johnny Evans starting, because I think if we can get into a position maybe where we're winning and bring him off, I think, you know, can he last the 90 minutes today? But again, it's a home game. And if we can manage the game where we take the game to Everton, you would be hoping really that the likes of Johnny Evans shouldn't really be in the game much. Certainly not to the extent at the Etihad last week, where it was, you know, a constant kind of barrage of attacks from Manchester City. So Johnny Evans for me. I suppose the one weak link, and Ricky will go mad at me for saying this, but I don't like Lindelof at left back.
You're right.
I'm not going to go in on Lindelof. I always say fair play to him. You know, if he gets picked, he's not throwing his toys out the pram or anything. He wants to play. He isn't a left back, but hopefully he can do a job today. You know, we are asking him to do something that he clearly is not comfortable with. And if you're Sean Dyche and Everton, you're certainly looking at exploiting, you know, trying to get down that right-hand side where Lindelof's going to be from an Everton perspective. But apart from that, I'm excited. I think that on paper,
it's the best team he can put out, really.
Yeah, and that's what that's what he has to do from now until the end of the season.
Faz, you got your wish, McTominay starting?
Did I wish for that?
You wanted to make your point about McTominay, though.
Yeah. I think McTominay can't be sold this summer. And Eric doesn't really have anyone to pick from, you know, to put in the midfield anyways. And McTominay is like a Crash Bandicoot character. He just goes in the box, gets the goal, and that's what we can rely on him for. I think in terms of the front three, though, what I'll say is I have a feeling Bruno is playing the middle because Rashford will kick up a fuss. He doesn't want to play the middle. So that's the reason why he's going with Bruno playing in the central position. because I don't know why else he would do that. It doesn't make sense. Bruno's best position would be just playing behind a forward. So why would Eric go and put him as false nine or even on the wing, knowing that Bruno's output is not that good? So it's clearly, for me anyways, is that Rashford doesn't want to play ball and Rashford wants to play in his left side.
Do you know what it is for me? I think, first of all, it's a way for him to get McTominay in the team. And he feels like he needs to because of all the goals that he's
Extra man in
done.
midfield.
And we think about the height of Everton as well.
Yeah.
And the physicality. You know, McTominay's going to be good in there off set pieces. He's going to be good in there to, you know, that physicality. Also, Rashford's absolutely stunk the gaff up playing up front. So why continue with that? Yeah. At the end of the day, you know, as little as we can go off it, Bruno in that position, I've noticed it in quite a few games now, and it worked in the City game. Then balls over the top from Onana. Bruno kind of does really well to get hold of him, laying that off to a player. Like, that's how the Rashford goal came from. Bruno, of course, I prefer him as a cam, but Rashford is a lot better off the left than up front. So if you're talking about getting the most out of your players, Garnacho's best position for me this season has been on the right. Rashford's best position's on the left. You know, he wants to get McTominay in there. Bruno's sort of just got to have to make that sacrifice. But I prefer him at Cam, but I think he's the best option we've got. And our options are so limited right now. That's where I'd go with it.
I think that's the best option.
I do think they'll interchange though, like they did in the City.
I don't think the over-the-top ball from Onana is going to work today because Everton are going to sit back a bit more.
That's the only thing.
Whereas Man City are much higher up, so that's how you beat the press. So we'll see what happens.
Tarkowski and Branthwaite just going to be sweeping them up. I mean, let's talk about Everton's starting 11 actually, and then I'll get some super chats in. Pickford, Godfrey, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikolenko, Harrison, Onana, Garner, McNeil, Decore and Beto. It's a good team from Everton. You know, Decore's been back, I think, for a couple of games now. Onana's back now in starting 11. Garner, ex-United. Branthwaite, a player that United are looking at for the summer. You know, there's...
I'm interested to see him today. Obviously, you've just mentioned the links, but obviously... United have been linked to him, but I haven't really watched much of him. Obviously, now that Manchester United play Everton today, I'll be interested, you know, to see what the hype is all about, really, and hoping that he doesn't have a brilliant game, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in terms of Man United's bench, let me get Man United's bench up. Man United's bench is Bayende, me, Cambuala, Ogunye, Amrabat, Collier, Ericsson, Ahmad, Anthony.
Wow.
And that bench is just... I mean, the only senior players on there are Ericsson, Ahmad and Anthony. Amrabat.
What you have to look at that bench there and think, hopefully we're not in that position, but if we are chasing the game, I mean, that just shows the squad depth at Manchester United, because at what stage could you bring an Ericsson on? Maybe if you, let's say we're 2-0 up, you know, last 15 minutes and you want to bring Ericsson on.
We've got two keepers on the bench. I mean, let's...
Shows you, doesn't it?
I think it's... I'm pretty sure it's Dermot Me that we have on our bench. That's two keepers then. I might be getting it wrong. I mean, I've never.
And obviously McTominay starts. He's usually the one on the bench that you might look to, the go-to, thinking if things are a bit rough, we can bring on McTominay maybe and try and score a late goal or a consolation goal, whatever it is. But he starts obviously today. It's
like when you look at that bench and then people like, you know, coming in hard on Ten Hag, I think, come on.
Well, in comparison...
Like, look at it, like, genuinely.
In comparison, you know, Manchester City last week are bringing on, you know, Alvarez. You know, they've got players like that. And when you look at a squad like that... on Thursday, you know, I did a show of the 21 players that could realistically leave United in the summer. And we made an argument, I think, for 2 or 3 of them that could possibly stay. So 19 players, more or less, everybody that was watching kind of agreed... could go in the summer. It made no difference to Manchester United. 19 players.
Yeah, I did something like that, and I found myself barely keeping anyone.
Yeah.
And I mean, someone just said, Paul Irwin said, my Sunday League team has a better bench than that. Honestly, like, you know, there's no doubt about it. By the way, Everton's bench is better than ours. Like, and we're talking about Everton here. Their subs is Patterson, Keane, Calvert-Lewin, Young, Andre Gomez, Coleman, Dobbin, Shamiti and Virginia. I mean, they've got Calvert-Lewin, I mean, it's to be fair, but Patterson's decent. Like, our subs bench, the only real threat off the bench to give you anything, really, is Ericsson and Ahmad that I can see doing something.
You say Anthony as well.
Anthony, it's like, it's barking up, you know, a tree that's never, you know, it's like...
And there's no point bringing him on with like 90 seconds left or whatever he's done with Anthony. You know, what's the point?
You can bring a horse to water, Kev, you can't make it drink.
Well
that's how I feel with Anthony. It's like, you know, you can bring him on as many times as possible. It still doesn't look threatening.
Yeah.
It's one of them, innit? Hopefully you can get the job done. But the players are going to have to dig in. Big time, and we're going to have to see something. But getting your observations on the starting 11, what you think. I'll go through some super chats now. So International 2675 says Ahmad is the biggest threat. What is wrong with Erik ten Hag? Well, with thinking, looking at the state of that bench, we'll definitely see him today. Sure. Ricardo Salazar, left back, centre back, left-footed, CDM, then lastly a striker. So that's in the order of what he wants his transactions in: left back, left-footed centre back, a CDM, then a striker. I mean, Hojlund on his own, really. Daniel Whittaker, a member for 20 months. Hi, guys. Personally, I'd keep Shaw as backup centre-back for Martinez. I'd prefer we got a CDM, a striker, and a centre-back, and then a right-back. We do need to sell 5 to 6 players too. Amir Khan says, defender, left-back, striker, CDM, right-back, all starters, and then strengthen our bench. Not asking for a lot then.
Just half the team.
Arrow DJ, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate that. Manu Melby says, who scores today, guys? I'm going Bruno.
I've got a feeling Rashford.
McTominay.
Anton Taylor, how many minutes do we see Anthony getting? I mean, that's an interesting one. So I said surely I think Ahmad will get minutes, but now Anthony's on the bench, and maybe that's kind of skewed me a little bit. I mean,
you do get the defensive work from Anthony. He certainly doesn't shy away from that. The main criticism is in the final third. This cutting back, you know, it's infuriating to watch, and you know exactly what. It's just so predictable as well.
I think it's today. I see us trying to, you know, it depends whether I feel like it's going to be a really close scoreline, and it's whether Ten Hag goes for the kill to kind of see the game off. You know, that's why you bring on an Ahmad, or he shuts up shop and tries to, you know, hold out for a 1-0 lead or maybe a 2-1 win, and that's when you bring Anthony on. But Faz, how many minutes do you see Ahmad Anthony getting today?
Has this become a segment on the shows now? Every show we try and guess how many minutes. I don't think he's probably going to get 5-6 minutes, if that. I don't see him getting any more than that. I don't think Ahmad is going to be a Manchester United player after this season. I think he's going to get moved on. No, I don't think so. If he gets a loan, that's actually very lucky for him. But I don't think there's always a demand for a player like Ahmad in the market, anyways. But I don't think he's going to be a Manchester United player. If Erik ten Hag stays.
People in the chat saying Anthony could be our new left back.
But look at Alexander Iwobi, how his career's been transformed, his position's been transformed, right? You know, why can't we do that with Anthony?
You know, people always say, you know, turn Anthony into a fullback, but it's more than just, you know, the defensive work. It's the, you know, the crosses, defending a back post, you know, one-on-ones. Like, it's not. There's no future in it. But I get why people would want to say it. Someone said to me that Dallo would be a better winger than Anthony, and I agree.
Without shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
I agree with him. It's mad. It really is mad. We spent nearly. Oh, it's crazy.
I know.
But anyway, let's look at Everton's team a little bit, and then we're going to do our players to watch. So, players to watch from Everton, really, because, you know, we've got an eye on a couple of these players. First of all, let's talk about Branthwaite. He was speaking before the game, actually, Branthwaite, talking about how it's his first time playing at Old Trafford, you know, quite excited for it. There's obviously massive interest from United into Branthwaite. We actually got exclusive news that when Hannibal was going out on loan, Sean Dyche kind of wanted him. The club wanted to do the deal with Everton rather than Sevilla because they wanted to make good relations because they're interested in Branthwaite and Onana. Branthwaite's 21, Faz. I don't know how much you've watched of him this season, but I think he's just going to be absolutely top quality. I know somebody who is an Everton season ticket holder, and he thinks he's got a higher ceiling than John Stones, which is saying something. Lot, yeah. So what are you thinking about, you know, Branthwaite and potentially moving for him in the summer?
With respect to the Everton season ticket holder, but I've heard Luton season ticket holders say they've got better players than Arsenal. So
no, but Stones was at Everton.
Yeah, but it takes a lot more than a season for me to know. I do like his profile, you know, his physicality, his ability on the ball, but I've not made my mind up yet when it comes to him. But the centre back market in itself, you're not going to find a player like him you know, who's already played in the Premier League as well, for his age and his profile as well, is, you know, it's a great mix. So I understand why Manchester United are looking at him, and then you also have to look, why would you look at a player like him? Because you've got the likes of Martinez, and he would complement Martinez as well. So again, that helps. That goes hand in hand as well. So I understand why Manchester United.
The age as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's gonna be good to see him today, live in the flesh, and see how he does. Like you said before, I've not seen him. You know, it's different to watching on TV than you see in real life. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got my eyes on someone else in the Everton lineup. That, without a shadow of a doubt, absolutely love this guy, man. I want this guy so bad. Pause. I like him a lot. I would want him in Manchester United.
He's the exact type of player that would fit Ten Hag's system as well, I think.
Yeah, we have been linked with him.
Strength, his physicality, good on the ball. He's like a hybrid of a 6'8", which is exactly what we want. I think it'd be a brilliant signing. But let's get a poll running, actually. If you could only sign one, Branthwaite or Onana, who would you sign? Let's see what people say. And we're talking about Onana of Everton here. Even though Onana in our goal, we've already got him.
Also, big shout out to Ghana as well, you know. A lot of people said he wasn't good enough and all of this. They said he wasn't good enough to get into Everton's starting lineup. But, you know, look at him getting regular minutes now. It's nice to see.
The Everton fan I know loves Ghana.
Yeah, obviously, he's a really good player.
But one thing I want to bring up here as well is Ten Hag's been speaking before the game, and he's confirmed it's Bruno false 9. And he said, we've playing Bruno false 9, you're looking for the runs in behind.
It's going to have to be, isn't it? Yeah, that's
good. But it's like, Everton, I think they will sit back. So it's going to be interesting to see how we go about it, like Faz was saying before. But let's get that poll up and running. I love Onana. I really do. I think he is a good player. But we'll have
I'm interested to see Branthwaite. As I said earlier, I haven't watched much of him. So today I get to see 90-odd minutes of him. But the Everton fans that I know, a few of them, that's how I would judge it. So I've kind of spoke to them, and they tell me that he's going to be the real deal. They can see that in him already. So they'd be the best judge of the Branthwaite kind of fans at this moment in time, because at least they're watching him every week, so they can tell you what they're seeing. You know, the development. That's
what you always want to look at, the fans that are watching week in week out, don't you? And it's like, as well on that, we're talking about trusting. What I trust is the fact Arsenal apparently are really interested in him. Yeah. Arteta's made some great signings, some ones I've questioned as well. So
you can't be, like I say, getting the kind of verdict from one of them fans. It's like when Wayne Rooney was breaking through at Everton. You know, I remember talking to Everton fans back then, and they were like, that's when, before he'd even got into the first team, they said, there's this kid, in the under whatever it was at the time, scoring goals, looks the real deal. And obviously, and not for 1 minute am I comparing Rooney and Branthwaite, by the way. I'm just similar kind of things.
If you had to pick one, who would you pick to sign?
It's a very tough question.
Yeah,
that's quickly,
a really
guys,
tough one. Branthwaite, I'd go with. Centre back. It could be the next centre back for 10 years.
Just because I want him more. I've got a bit of bias.
I'd pick Branthwaite, to be honest. I think, the ceiling there, but I like them both. I'd want to sign them both, ideally. Ten Hag, interesting quote from him. With injuries coming in, routines have dropped away. So kind of admitting that...
Sorry, what was that?
He said, with injuries coming in, the routines have dropped away.
Why?
Basically admitting that the style of play is gone because of injuries. We knew that already, but he's admitting it. And so, yeah, interesting stuff. Get your votes in on the polls.
Don't know why he would say that. Other teams drop players and still have their routines.
It's true, though. I
know it's true, but I don't know why he would say that, because other teams drop players and have stable routines. It's just true.
We had a good run of form, 4 or 5 games, and that coincided with Ten Hag probably having his strongest 11, and that then went out the window again when Luke Shaw, Martinez got injured, and it has been horrendous. I don't like to use it as an excuse, but I can see what he's getting at there.
Yeah, the excuses, it's named, but at the same time, like, we've got that many injuries and he's only been through the door for a year.
We're playing Lindelof at left back.
He wanted to change the style of play at the start of this season. He's not really had as much time as I would have liked. I can understand it, but it is frustrating. Yeah. But players to watch quickly. Faz, you went with Garnacho.
Yeah, as I explained at the start of the show, I think he's the player that can bring a lot of intensity and a lot of effort up front, and just overall in between the front line. I think he's going to be the main guy to get anything if there is. not really much else to say, really. Maybe an overhead kick today.
Be nice.
Maybe a left-footed effort on goal that goes in. So we'll see. He's the only hope that I have in the front line, really.
I understand that. I also think, you know, Anthony not being in the team again, and, you know, Garnacho continually getting the nod, obviously, because he's better than him. But it shows that, you know, people kept talking about the Ten Hag favouritism towards Anthony. Well, he's barely even playing him anymore. He must not be keen on him right now. Kev, your player to watch was Rashford.
Yeah. It sounds funny this when you say player to watch, because it's as if like you know, coming up with some like really player that you've spotted. The reason I've gone for Rashford is because obviously since he made the headlines for the wrong reasons, come back against Wolves, scored a great goal. I do, and I know it's coincided with United not playing well as well, but I just think Rashford has kind of dropped off slightly, scored a fantastic goal in the derby last week. But again, if you want to be critical, there was other moments in that game where on another day, or maybe if it's Hojlund in that position, could have had a hat-trick. So I think Rashford, it's a big game for him. I think as a United fan, that's one person that I am kind of looking at and expecting good things. Obviously, he scored loads of goals last season, and he needs to get back on the goal trail. But I'll be interested to just see how he kind of presents himself today at Man United. Yeah,
I think Rashford, after that goal against City, hopefully, you know, we can kick on from that, and maybe that'll give him the confidence to get his shooting boots back on properly.
You know, it's such a shame, right? You know what he can do. Like yesterday, I was looking at some highlights of his from, you know, when Pogba was here and stuff. Like the way he would go past defenders and he would glide past players and you know, put the ball in the box or, you know, shoot at goal. Just don't understand how that player's disappeared. And the things
you think it's a confidence thing?
Yeah, I don't know, because the things he used to do are not systematical things. He's still a winger, you know, he's still got his bread and butter. He's still a dribbler. He's still supposed to be able to beat a man, because he used to do that since a young lad when he broke into Manchester United. How has that disappeared is the biggest question of it all. Where has it gone? Because I don't understand how you can go from day and night over the course of a season. I just don't get it. Something isn't right. And is it confidence? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it can be confidence. The manager clearly believes in you so much that he even plays you when you oversleep and come late.
But here's the thing, Faz. Do you think that the player is behind the manager?
The £1 million question.
You just said that Eric Ten Hag obviously believes in Rashford. Do you think Rashford believes in Ten Hag?
I mean, he's dropped his £100 million mark. He's biggest player. He's number one player in the system, yet kept Marcus Rashford playing. You know, so what does that tell you? Marcus and Bruno are the only players that will guaranteed to play every game. I don't know why and Bruno and Dallo run all day for the team, will give their life for the team. But I don't understand what is going on with Marcus. There's something not right. And it's more than what meets the eye.
Yeah.
I think so.
Wayne Rooney put this is a quote coming out, he's on TNT, isn't he, right now? He said that some of the lads are making bad decisions off the pitch, but they aren't making the right decisions on the pitch.
Yeah. They aren't. And they're making bad decisions off the pitch.
Yeah, not a good combination, is it? No.
Recipe for disaster.
I'd love to get Rooney in the changing room today, you know, if that were... Why not?
I would love it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I would. And Waz has got all the ingredients...
like one of Faz's motivational speeches.
Yeah, all the ingredients to tell these players all the things Wayne Rooney did wrong in his career. You know, people can sit there and see all the things Wazza did right, but don't forget, Wayne had a lot of issues off the pitch and a lot of things off the pitch that he could tell these players.
You never questioned him for running.
Get your things right.
That's the thing. The thing is with Rooney, you know, all the off the pitch stuff would happen, but when he turned up and the whistle blew, he gave absolutely everything, and he always turned up. He was class. It's like even when he scored that goal and he did like the boxing, like kind of celebration, because he, you know,
Phil Barsley
he'd had a bust up, hadn't he, with him? But it's like, to have the actual arrogance and the confidence to do that is because he played so well every game. And he gave everything every game. That's all we want to see. When you don't give everything on the pitch and fans can physically see it, that's when they'll start to question your off the pitch activities. Why? Why is it happening?
You can never question Rooney's commitment.
Impossible.
Always left everything out in the field. One of the best clips you'll ever see. Remember the Newcastle goal that he scored, the volley? Unbelievable. You watch that in the build-up to that goal, and Rooney's like arguing with the referee. I think after it, he said, as that ball dropped, he was that annoyed a decision had been given against him. He just literally took his anger out on the ball. That's what Rooney said.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. And you see it in the build-up. You know, he's hounding the referee and arguing about this decision. And then bang, scores an absolute worldie. But that was Rooney.
You know, one of the things I really liked as well as of recent when I think he was doing some punditry and he said, I want to work my way up to one day become a Manchester United manager. I absolutely love that. Really do.
I don't know if that's in his future, to be honest. But
why
I love the ambition.
He's certainly looking at getting back into management because he's doing a lot of media, isn't he?
I love the ambition, but let's be honest, his managerial career hasn't been successful.
Not as of yet, but you know, he's got many years, hopefully, to work his way up. And what he says it himself. He says, I don't want my playing career to justify my ability to manage a club. I want to make my own name as a manager, which is fantastic. Go and do it.
You've got to go out there and earn your stripes.
And
he's in the same boat at the minute as a Steven Gerrard and a Lampard. Look, you know, that generation of you're getting a job basically picked on who you are because he hasn't. I know he needs to be given time to try and prove that, but the Birmingham move.
I mean, Steven Gerrard, look at him, for example. Liverpool fans would have loved him. And they used to say, Steven Gerrard 2025, we will be there. Look at what happened then.
I wish Klopp decided to go like 2 years earlier because, you know, Gerrard could have been the guy that came in straight after. But the poll on if you could only sign one, who would it be, ended 54% Branthwaite, 46% Onana. So very split, very, very split. I mean, for us, it's going to be tough to get them both in the summer unless they go down, but it'll be interesting to see. I do think Everton are a Premier League club though, and I don't agree with the points deduction they've had and the fact that City haven't had it, so respecting in that sort of sense of things. But my player to watch was actually a different Onana, not coincidence, Andre Onana today, because I feel like in this game, you know, we can't afford to make any mistakes. He's been really good in the Premier League since, you know, start of 2024, and he looks somewhat more comfortable, but still not 100% on his shot-stopping capabilities on the low shots. But he's been
we've seen that last week with the Foden one, didn't we? Where if you're being critical, you have to get a strong hand to that. But
it's not Howler, but could you do better? But with Onana, I think he's doing so much better in terms of his confidence, you know, his presence, his distribution. I think that's going to be needed today. So hopefully he can keep.
He did it at the Etihad last week. Apart from that one where you could argue he probably should have saved it. Apart from that, I thought he was faultless. Yeah. Especially when you have a game plan like that and you go into a game slowing the ball down, football shithousery, whatever you want to call it. Onana started that from the back last week, you know, give us a breather, allowed us to get up the pitch, and some of his passing over the top was obviously a game plan, wasn't it? It worked.
Yeah, and everyone saw that Athletic article. If you didn't, Athletic article came out on Onana saying that when he first came, like, he would turn to his friends and they said, like, this isn't the keeper we know. Like, he found it difficult to adapt at first and he was really critical of himself, which a lot of keepers have when they first come to United, but he feels a lot more confident now and like he's made that adaptation. So hopefully you can see him kick on from here, because I think a lot of people wrote him off, but I do think there is a player there.
100%.
We're starting to see that. So
a lot of goalkeepers at Manchester United have a shaky start. This isn't the first time you've seen this. And what I will say, even David De Gea, to an extent, I remember the start he had at Manchester United, teams were targeting him every week. I remember a game against Stoke, you know, they were putting all the usual tactics, but David De Gea was very young at that stage, and teams were targeting that because they spotted it as a weakness off set pieces, off corners, whatever it was. But Onana, for me, it's all about confidence, and the one thing I've always said is having a settled back four or, you know, back line. How many different players has he played with this season at the back?
Yeah,
you know, we played, what is it, the amount of combinations, it's 20 odd different combinations we've had, centre-back pairings, left-back, right-back, whoever it's been, it's crazy.
This is an interesting quote from Rooney. Rooney got asked how much sympathy he has for Rashford, and he said, not much, to be honest. He's in a privileged position where he plays for Manchester United.
Ooh. I did say that earlier on, didn't I? Yeah.
It's true.
On the leaks about running and...
It's true. But anyway, we've got 1 minute left. Wow. This TNT coverage, to be fair, is looking quite good. Not as good as our build-up show, but
obviously not.
But 1 minute left. Score predictions. Get your score predictions in the chat. Kev?
I'm going to blow your mind there, but I'm going United 3-0. Don't ask me why, how that even happens. I'm purely going down to the fact it's match day, kick-off is fast approaching, and I'm in this like giddy mood.
Do you know what it is? It's the power of the build-up show, and kind of it's like, and they're talking through it, and then you start thinking, you know what, we're going to do
It's
it
the
now.
hope that kills you.
But
I know.
it's crazy to think that, like, I'm shocked that as fans, we're predicting a 3-0 win at home against Everton. That's how bad we've been this season. That I'm shocked at that prediction. Faz, what are you going with?
I went with, I think, 2-0 Manchester United in the group chat, so I'm gonna stick to that.
Keep a clean sheet?
Yeah.
I was going to go 2-0, and I did see a lot of people in our group chat that seemed to be, you know, a popular kind of result for today, so I just wanted to be slightly different.
Yeah,
I
think
United.
2-0 would be the scoreline.
Yeah.
For me, that seems like the one that we'll be able to achieve. I don't know if we're going to be able to achieve a 3-0.
Yeah, it's crazy because then you go, well, why are we going to keep a clean sheet? You know, we very rarely keep a clean sheet, but make it make sense. Like I say, I'm just going pure off vibes, match day vibes.
I have enjoyed Onana though recently. You know, just on that point, I really have. I think he's grown a lot. But I think Manchester United. Not Manchester United. I think Erik ten Hag made a dire mistake, an abysmal mistake, by not keeping David De Gea for at least another season, because David was going to reduce his wages, and it would have been made the perfect sense to keep an experienced keeper.
Do you think he would have stayed as like an understudy to Onana?
Yeah. Yes, and I would have because he was going to reduce his wages anyways. Everybody, this is public information, and on top of that, we would have been able to at least make something out of that Champions League, tint that we had.
I just can't imagine that De Gea would have been happy to sit on the bench.
It would have.
As a pride thing.
It just would have caused absolute.
And imagine the pressure on Onana then. You know, if he makes a mistake. It's like that Ramsdale kind of thingy situation at Arsenal at the minute. You know, if one makes a mistake, the camera cuts to the one that's on the bench, and you've got, you know, whoever it is, and it's almost like that question all the time. Should he have played De Gea today? Should he have played Onana? But yeah,
it would have caused chaos, and it's like you either stick or you twist.
Yeah,
you either move on or you don't.
Do it.
My score prediction anyway, I'm going with 2-1. I'm not as confident as a clean sheet of you guys. I think we'll just get it over the line, only just. Interestingly enough, Ricky's just texted me actually. He's texted me saying 3 proper midfielders against Everton at home. Is the penny finally dropping?
Ricky's loving that lineup, isn't he, I bet? McTominay, Evans, Lindelof.
3 games to save his job. You know, the guy needs to make sure that it's secure in there, and I think that's what he's going with. Quickly, guys, really quick, because Mark is going live now. If Ten Hag loses today, do you reckon they're nice? The nice time.
Oh,
where
100%. Yeah, he will be. Not with me, but as a whole, yeah, definitely, 100%.
It's not thin ice. The ice is starting to crack. He's gonna fall. I think he's gonna fall anyways. Let's be honest. Jimmy's come out and said he's not really said anything about. He's not really said anything about Erik ten Hag, so I think he's going to fall anyway. So he's just at this point, don't stand still.
Are you that type with Ratcliffe that you call him Jimmy now? Yeah. Jimmy.
Mark is live now, everyone. So head over to the watch along. We're heading to the game. Please hit a like on the video on your way out and infiltrate the chat with.
The only thing that you can do today, and credit to Ricky, is Scott McTominay, McTerminator, McFloggin, McMileage, whatever you want to name him. McMileage is the name that I've given him. Yeah, so maybe go and flog the chat with McMileage, because he's the one guy that I think is going to score today, and he cannot be sold. Scott McTominay cannot be sold. Yeah, I am telling the thousands of you, get off his back. He cannot be sold. I will do Mark, can I do a specific show with Ricky to explain why Scott McTominay cannot be sold this summer? He's so important. He's actually such an important player.
Ricky is living in your head rent-free, I tell you.
I'm telling you, I'm going to break this down to you and you will start believing it.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. Cut to after the show on the forum where Faz is saying, we can't have McTominay in the team. But everyone, guys, love you and leave you. Hopefully get the win. It's super important what we do. Let's get behind the team today. Come on, United, and we'll see you afterwards for the forum.